And that's the thing, you can use the compressor plug-in for whatever, man, even vocals. If you have vocals that are more dynamic in one section and not so dynamic in another section, or maybe the volume, the audio is lower in one section and higher, the volume is higher in another section, you can always come here, use the compressor plug-in, and use the threshold, and you will see the vocals level out, right? The sound of the vocals. You won't have to turn the song up in one part of the song and turn the song down in the other part of the song, okay? But I use the compressor plug-in for audio tracks, samples, drums. I use it on vocals and a little bit of everything. Play around with it and see how you can use it. But these are the main controllers here. This gives you an idea of what each one does. Again, that release, man, you hear how the release just adds more body to the tail end of the snare drum. That's because the release is triggering the compressor to react slower. It's not kicking straight in, which gives your music a more dynamic sound. It gives it that full body sound, all right? Again, think of attack and release on a compressor like your music having mood swings, if that makes sense. You know how people get attack controls, how fast the compressor kicks in when the volume exceeds the threshold, and the release on the other hand determines how quickly the compressor lets go once the volume drops below the threshold. All right, adjusting all these knobs can help shape the dynamics and vibe of your tracks point blank, okay? Set the parameters based on the tempo and feel of your tracks, and you'll be using the compressor plug-in like a pro. But you gotta use it yourself, right? You gotta use it yourself. You gotta play around with it. At least now you know how they work. You know what they do and how to use them. But it's gonna take for you to get in the studio, you to pull up a session and use them on your audio sample. Okay, here's a little tip when using the compressor plug-in. Listen and adjust wisely. Don't just go in there moving a bunch of knobs and controllers, not knowing what you're doing. Listen to it. While you're adjusting the knobs, listen to your music, your beat, and adjust it accordingly. Don't just rely solely on visual cues. I know you see all this fancy stuff, and sometimes we we look at the visuals of the plugins, but listen to it, all right? Don't get caught up in the numbers. You know how some people are so specific, you know, they like, I need this to be at 10.3 and this to be at 7.5. You know, I mean, man, stop being so technical, man. If you don't remember anything else, trust your ears, all right? Listen critically to how the compressor affects the sound and make adjustments accordingly. That's how you're going to make the best music possible when using these plugins. That's how we want to do, okay? Trust your ears. Pay attention to how the compressor shapes the attack, sustain, and overall balance of your beats. And remember, simplicity is key. Sometimes less compression is more effective. By mastering the compressor techniques, you can take your beats to the next level, to a higher level, depending on your knowledge and knowing how to work it. And it's going to add depth, clarity, and punch to your productions. As you can see, I added a lot of punch to this snare. And in the mix, while you listen to it, you listen to the song, it's going to make you bob your head because you hear that snare bleeding through. Keep experimenting and trust your instincts to find the perfect setting for your sound. So let's recap. The threshold sets the boundaries of the track. The ratio determines how much compression is applied once your audio crosses the threshold. The attack controls how fast the compression kicks in, and the release controls how slowly or quickly the compression returns back to the original volume. That's the way this compressor plug-in gets down, all right?